So recently, something that's been coming up a lot with our patients is communication problems that they're having with their partner. So I have 5 key communication tips that I give people as words of advice and encouragement. One of the biggest problems I see with communication is that we don't listen to listen, we listen to reply. So I highly encourage people to be more understanding than understood. Right? So you can use things like reflective listening. Let people know that you're really hearing them. Your partner will really appreciate that you're listening to them, validating their feelings. Just because you don't agree with their feelings doesn't make their feelings invalid. Second piece of advice I have is timing is key. So there is no perfect timing to bring up, a big topic. A lot of times I hear people say, well, when we're fighting, when we're having a fight, I don't want to bring up like a big issue to make the matter worse. And also when things are like going really well and great and we're lovey-dovey, I don't want to ruin the moment and bring up a big issue. So there's definitely no perfect timing. However, there are definitely certain times where you don't want to bring up a big discussion. So for example, shortly before going to bed, like half hour before going to bed, especially when your partner or you have to be up early the next day for work, you don't want to bring up an anxiety-provoking conversation, right? So definitely, make sure that you have adequate time and space to allow for the conversation. Daytime is usually best so that you don't have to go to bed, angry at each other. Another thing I highly encourage people is to be aware of their body language, their tone of voice, their facial expressions. So, for example, right, a lot can be told just by eye rolling or by making certain facial expressions. So be very aware of how you come off. Another thing that I encourage people to do is to be positive, right? When you're having a conversation with your partner on a disagreement, it's very easy to be negative and to be argumentative. So do your best to point out their positive attributes. They will be more likely to respect and listen to what you're saying and appreciate what you're saying. And my final piece of advice I have for communication is I often hear people say, you make me feel, she makes me feel, he makes me feel. So instead of saying that the person makes you feel this way, because at the end of the day, nobody can make you feel the way, right? You feel the way you feel for whatever reason. So instead of saying you make me feel X, I encourage people to say, I feel X when you do Y because of situation Z. So for example, I feel hurt or I feel disrespected when you leave the lights on or make noise when I have to be up early the next day and I'm trying to go to bed. So those are some key communication tips I have for couples.